Well, who isn't looking to save money in this rough economy? One of the major investments many of us make is in our cars, but with credit tight, buying a new car might not be an option right now. But don't worry, our auto man Brian Bowersock of West Escondido Auto says keeping your car longer can be one of the savviest money-saving moves you can make. So the question, good morning, Brian. Thanks so much for being here as always.
Absolutely.
The question is, how long, should you keep your car? Some people say a certain mileage is too much, but what do you say?
Well, it's hard to determine. Each person is obviously different depending on how many miles you drive a year and stuff like that. On average, Consumer Reports and looking at all, keeping a car for 15 years, you can almost save the value of the car as far as going. For example, a late model Honda Civic, if you kept it for 15 years and serviced and maintained it properly, you'd save about $20,500 over the 15 years versus replacing the vehicle every 3 to 5 years, which a lot of people like to do, and lose thousands of dollars.
$20,000 is probably more than the car was worth to start with.
About $1,500 more than the car was worth to start with when it was initially sold new. So it is a good investment. But one of the things you have to do, obviously, is keep it maintained so the car doesn't fall apart. And that means servicing it regularly, having repairs done when needed, not letting things go. But the investment that you put into that will take you way further than it will replacing the car all the time, money-wise.
Are there certain things that, as the mileage starts to stack up, need replacing more often?
Well, often as you get higher in mileage, things like bigger items can become an issue, transmission problems, things like that. But what we have found with most customers, if they come to a quality facility and they do things like service the transmission, replace filters when needed, stuff like that, you can often get a vehicle that doesn't have those major repairs over that 15 to 18-year lifespan.
Well, and you say a properly serviced and maintained vehicle will last for 200,000 miles or more, which is more than a lot of people think. And instead of replacing, if you can service it, it'll save you over $20,000 in 15 years, which is what you said before. But 200,000 miles?
200,000 and more. We have seen vehicles getting up into almost 500,000 miles that are maintained and serviced on a regular basis and driven. So it's all in how you take care of your investment in the vehicle. Let's face it now, cars are not cheap anymore to purchase a new one. So it's a big investment, and you might as well get your money out of your investment instead of running out and purchasing a new one every 3 to 5 years. It's kind of like throwing money in the wind. Those shiny new cars, though, sometimes are very enticing to people.
About how often should you get your car serviced?
A vehicle should be serviced 3,000 to 5,000 miles for general minor services, obviously, and then sometimes extended out depending on if you're using a synthetic type of oil and things like that. Every time you have your vehicle serviced, your provider should be giving you a little general inspection, checking things for you, maintenance items, making sure you're on schedule. If you tend to go to the same facility, they track your maintenance. They can recommend things for you like fuel filters every 30,000 miles, etc. I mean, there's many maintenance items on a vehicle that should all be tracked by who's providing you service.
Another question I have is the type of gas you get. If you get the better gas, if you get the, say, Chevron versus AMCO or some of these other things, does that make a big difference as far as the life of your vehicle?
There's not a really great difference. Some fuel providers put additives into their fuel, Chevron, Techron, things like that, that are kind of added cleaners. But as far as fuel, it's pretty much manufactured to the same standards. Now, there's different octane ratings, and obviously, if you have a hybrid performance car, BMW, things like that, they require higher octane rating. The reason for that is compression ratios and keeping a vehicle from pinging. So you should run whatever octane rating the manufacturer recommends for the car. But for the most part, fuel is fuel, just like, but the other Techron, things like that, those additives are little cleaners.
Yet another way to save money.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Great tips as always. And if you have a question for Brian, you can drop him an email. The link to his website is on our website, which is san diego6.com. Just click on Hot Topics. Well.